red walls of the Wynn unit stand out against the grass and greenery. With elevated guard towers and barbed wire fencing enclosing it all, this is exactly how you'd picture a Texas prison. Our day started just like any other visitor or employee of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. A walk through a metal detector, belongings searched, and a pat-down. That got us inside the gated area. A guard buzzed us in for a secondary screening, this time with a canine officer. A second gated area, another buzz-in. We were finally inside. The warden, Roger Bowers, and a group with TDCJ brought us into a room to brief us on what we'd see to get the scope of the problems they're finding, not only here at Wynn, but across the Lone Star State. Our first stop, the Wynn unit mailroom.
My name is Margaret Thomas.
Thomas works as the mailroom supervisor here.
We process all the incoming mail. We do search that for contraband, different smells, different textures, different coloring on the paper.
It's been busy. System-wide, more and more attempts are being made to bring drugs through the mail system. On TDCJ's social media, they show Bibles stuffed with meth, packages testing positive for fentanyl, and books positive for synthetic marijuana or K2.
And they're going to try to get it in through the legal mail, which we're more on alert on that.
As the supervisor, Thomas carries Narcan on hand. They have a station by the mailroom door as well.
If anybody gets exposed to it and we see them acting funny or feeling crazy, then we squirt this in their nose.
Our next stop took us to the cafeteria. Because the inmates are on lockdown and staying in their cells, meals are bagged and brought to them.
2,600 offenders, roughly, so we're feeding 7,800 meals a day on this unit.
Warden Bowers then took us to the gym. Dozens of inmates were getting their belongings searched. Mattresses were going through a specialized scanner.
We're trying to process the lockdown as strategically and as safe as we can to make sure that we rid any contraband on the facility so we can return the facility back to normal.
Contraband can be anything from weapons to cell phones. Bowers staff is going through every item the inmates bring with them.
Unfortunately, some of these guys move contraband from one area to another, so we'll take them through a strip search process.
Cortland Wayne King has been here since 2012. He's serving life without parole.
Lockdown is pretty good. It's running fairly like it's supposed to. Lockdown is lockdown.
King showed us his tablet he uses to play games and send messages to loved ones. During a lockdown, visitation is suspended.
I got 8 grandkids.
8 grandkids. What's her name?
Charm.
In another role, Colt Galding waits for his search. Galding says he gets why they're under lockdown. Drugs are at an all-time high.
It is going to be a better place when they get contraband off the unit.
Overall, we have around 121 narcotic dogs, and some of those are puppies still being trained. Narcotic dogs across the state.
The dogs are working alongside Intelligence Sergeant Dominic Yanes and his team to clear cell blocks where inmates live.
A lot of times they'll make false walls.
This broken off razor blade was found while we were there. Pieces of fabric are tied together to throw things from one cell to another. After 20 years with TDCJ, Yanes knows what to look for and where.
So I think the biggest difference is the type of contraband that we're finding and also the amount.
We're going to be thorough. We're going to make sure that the facilities are safe and that we rid the facility as much contraband as we can.
Contraband like cell phones, alcohol, drugs, and weapons. An update posted on the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Facebook shows just how widespread this issue is. From the start of the lockdown on September 6 to October 6, 398 cell phones have been found, 482 weapons, 385 dangerous items like handcuff keys, tattoo guns, pills, and drug paraphernalia, and another 414 drug discoveries.
All of our facilities go through some type of shakedown procedure each year, but to take a whole system down at once had not been done since 2008.
Bobby Lumpkin is the director of Correctional Institutions Division. He says this lockdown is a major disruption to day-to-day life in prison.
It is very concerning. We've also had some serious assaults, some assaults of staff but inmate homicides.
As of October 4th, there have been 21 homicides at TDCJ prisons. 2022 saw 7 murders. 2021 had 9 for the year.
He just wanted to come home, and he wanted to venture in agriculture, and he wanted to help people get in shape.
LaShara Lampkin's 22-year-old son, Braylon Holly, was found dead in his cell on September 30th. A TDCJ spokesperson says it appears he was assaulted. Lampkin says he was close to his release date.
I know he wasn't perfect, but he did his time. He paid his dues. He shouldn't have to die.
Lampkin says Holly told her about the lockdown. She thought that meant he would be safe from any violence happening inside.
I mean, they were supposed to be on a lockdown. So I don't understand how this happened.
As with all deaths, the Office of the Inspector General is investigating what happened to Holly. On top of the murders, there's been 17 fatal overdoses this year as of early October. That's the same amount as all of 2022 and 5 more than 2021.
Think of a prison like a small city, right? And it's reflective of what's happening outside in the free world.
They're finding meth, fentanyl, cocaine, PCP, amphetamines, and large amounts of K2, or synthetic marijuana. Several staff members have been arrested for their involvement in bringing in drugs.
We're committed to rooting them out, finding those individuals, and ensuring that they're arrested and hopefully prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Over the past 5 years, there's been an exponential increase in the amount of contraband found inside of prisons, from attempts to throw things over this fence to even drone drops of illicit drugs and cell phones.
Considerable increase in some categories, 200, 300, 400% increase. Mail is one of the main pipelines.
The mailroom of the Wynn unit in Huntsville is busy.
They try to be creative of how they hide it in the paper or in the envelopes, in the books.
Every letter, book, magazine, thoroughly checked by staff here.
If it's glued like this, that means they tampered with it. And we usually run a little rod in here to make sure nothing has been stuffed in here.
Before the lockdown, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice announced its transition to a fully digital mail system. After a successful pilot launch, TDCJ decided to roll things out system-wide. All mail now comes to this facility in Farmers Branch outside of Dallas.
The concept is that the letter would be scanned and upload back to the unit and then released to the inmate tablet within 72 hours.
All of this is an effort to interrupt the stream of contraband being smuggled through the mail system. Every inmate has one of these tablets.
The mail system was a value add part of the contract for the tablet system. So that's not costing TDCJ any funds.
Portland Wayne King says most of his mail was already coming in that way.
But some people probably will hurt them. Like the most thing is letters, cards during the holidays, right? That's the big thing for me.
Mailroom supervisor Margaret Thomas believes the change will help, but won't stop contraband altogether.
The inmates are going to get crafty and more ideas, and they're going to try to get it in through the legal mail, which we're more on alert on that.
TDCJ is also ramping up security with new millimeter wave scanners. Those will be getting an upgrade soon.
In the new budget for the next 2 years, within that is $8 million for us to install additional middle wave scan systems in our maximum security facilities, such as you see in the airport.
With all of the changes and efforts, one question remains: what's driving the increase? Chief of Staff Jason Clark points to a few reasons.
Back during COVID, inmates did receive stimulus checks. So there was a significant amount of money, millions and millions of dollars, that came into inmates' hands.
And staffing challenges. System-wide, TDCJ is short approximately 6,500 correctional officers.
We're at about a 72% staffing level. Some units are 100% staffed, but more than not, they are not 100% staffed.
This lockdown is seen as a system-wide reset. The hope is this, in combination with systemic changes, will stop this dangerous trend.
Our charge and our mission is to provide public safety and ensure everything we do ties back to that.
I had created so much chaos out there, caused a lot of pain out there in the world, and so I wanted to do something different.
As a result of seeing this and going through this and seeing so many guys get executed, then it caused me to really want to make a difference.
Both Raymond Ramirez and Thomas Miller L. are leaders among the inmates here at the WIN unit.
We're just trying to reach out to our peers and just give them hope.
The Texas Department of Criminal Justice calls them life coaches. Brett Minster doesn't have the official title, but he may as well.
I noticed that a lot of people looked to me when I started changing, and they themselves started changing.
The positions come with expectation of excellent behavior and leadership from higher-ups within TDCJ. Christopher Carter oversees the program.
6 weeks of training on cognitive intervention, substance use, recovery issues, and mental health first aid. And they actually go out to the field and work with their peers on those three issues.
The life coaches have stringent rules, a zero strikes policy. Carter says they're seeing success with it.
We've seen a tremendous increase in enrollments. We've seen a decrease in issues. Those programs actually really work because we know that the peer influence is a powerful influence.
Miller L. offers an especially unique perspective. He spent 20 years on death row and had 11 execution dates set. In 2008, that sentence was changed following a Supreme Court ruling. He's now serving a life sentence. Today, Miller L. is giving back, teaching other inmates what it is to choose a new direction for themselves.
It's learning how to find yourself, learning how to love yourself, learning how to respect yourself, because it's only through learning how to love yourself that you can love someone else.
Carter says his team within the Rehabilitation Program Division are always looking at new ways to enrich incarcerated people's lives so they have a better chance of success when they're released.
We have a program called Go for the Goal. We have individualized treatment plans for each individual that's in prison. And with those plans, it enables my staff to develop a treatment assignments for them in certain areas that they need to focus on in order to achieve their rehabilitation.
Whether it's a substance abuse treatment program, sex offender treatment, volunteer services, or secondary education, TDCJ is trying to cover every aspect of rehabilitation to create a safer environment inside and out.
We have what we call program expositions, where we actually go out to the facilities and talk to the men and women about those opportunities, get them to sign up right then so we can go ahead and start positive change in their life now.
By showing successes like Miller L., Ramirez, and Minster, TDCJ hopes to create a domino effect where others are inspired to choose a positive path.
There are a lot of opportunities that you can change your life on this unit, because I did. I changed my life on this unit.
It's overwhelming to see that we live in a time where it's that you can actually do things to give back to your fellow man.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Lee Waldman.